It happens.
Okay, we're good. And trying to remember uh, even to introduce the place. It's been a long week. I apologize. Thank you for
Well,
going to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast. Friday nights, 5 o'clock. We've got Brandon. I'm gonna have you say your last name, but
Bronzini.
Bronzini. Okay, so Brandon Bronzini, who is out here with me in California, which is nice because I think we're the only two breathing people that do anything with cryptids out here. So everybody else is in Tennessee or Kentucky. But yeah, no, definitely. And we've got
You know,
Larry back.
phone's so fucking weak.
We've got Brandon. We've got Scott Brush and Bruce Brown again. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it, man.
yeah,
You're
anytime.
answering so many questions. All right. Hey, Brandon, why don't you tell us?
Oh.
You're from San Bernardino, right?
Not originally. So I was born in Oregon, Grants Pass,
Oh,
Oregon,
okay.
Southern
Oh, so
Oregon.
yeah, pretty close, huh?
Yeah,
Very cool.
lived there for about 7 years, and then moved to Washington State, 20 miles south of Olympia,
Oh,
and
wow.
then
Yeah, so
and then
you're
I
in the mix.
yeah, and then I started high school down here in Redlands in 2010. So that might sound crazy,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
just moved up to Crestline about 3 years ago. But I had been coming up here for years. Like I said, started the channel in 2018, Bronzini Bigfoot,
Yes.
and I got a lot of knowledge from a from a guy I'm really good friends with now, Mark Abel, also known as Colorado
There you go.
Bigfoot. Studied up on all the structures that he was showing, and I was like, "There's something to this." And
Yep.
what's kind of funny about that is Todd Standing and Survivor Man Les Stroud went on live television show. I think it was Survivor Man Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and I think it was like 2011, something like that. And they
Yeah.
showed like a massive tree structure, and that was the first one you ever saw on national television. You don't see any
Wow.
of them now.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
saw Mark's channel, and I like it just connected the dots for me. So um,
That
we're at where we're at because of that. So
perfect, man.
yes, sir.
So and a lot of people aren't aware that we have tree structures and stuff that are exactly similar to what you would see back east. Is that right, or
Yes.
you think there's something different out here?
No, that is completely true. Like it's similar, but in a different way. Like you know how you could all 4 or 5 of us could write on a piece of paper and say the same thing, but it's gonna look a little bit different. You know, it's
Very
like a
true.
signature. You know, so
Yeah.
I got a buddy in New Jersey called Diesel, New Jersey, and he's always sending me comparison structures to what I find and what he finds. And yeah, I mean, they look very similar, just a little different, you know, but the similarities are there. And we're talking not just the US, we're talking US, UK, Australia, like every continent besides Antarctica, because there's no trees out there. But yeah, they're everywhere, man. They are
Yeah.
everywhere.
Definitely. Well, it's nice because I may hit you up, Brandon, here soon because
Yeah.
I've got I think it's 15, 12 women and 3 men. I don't know if you do anything besides Bigfoot, but I could use a hand up here in Riverside.
Okay.
Uh, the local dogmen out there, they actually had lived near LA, and then they switched it and started busing people to this camp area that were either homeless or on drugs. And yeah, I think 12 women
Danger.
and 3 men have been taken and killed.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's bad. And there was one of the guys that was on what's his name's podcast. The other guy, ah, he's on every day. Can't think of his name offhand. But
Bigfoot Dwarf.
oh no, but I
Okay.
do know who that is, and we should probably hit him up, huh?
Yeah. Brown Dwarf's awesome,
Um,
man.
so in Riverside, we've gotten, uh, and I'm thinking, and this is just me thinking, that there was a lot of drug use and homelessness in LA. And I think
Hmm.
they bust these people somewhere else into um, I guess it's a more of a camping structure area, and people are getting picked off, and they're not allowed to say anything about it to the police. Say nothing. This is it. In fact, Bruce, you probably well aware of that by now. That's if they say no, it's no, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing
and
it has to do with the Santa Ana River area that runs right through Riverside.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly, and yeah, because it's right up against the foothills of that place.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting. It was I cannot remember that other guy's name, and I don't want Scott or not Scott. Anyways, but I got one of those out there, and I've got two white Sasquatch in Big Bear, two. So
Okay.
if you want to cruise out there with me, I've got uh, three women and one guy that was with them. So two of them both saw two different white Bigfoot, like they've got out in Tennessee, right, Bruce?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, ton of them.
Yep.
Or is it a ton of them, or is it just one or two that people are seeing?
Here in Tennessee,
Yeah,
we call them albinos.
binos.
Uh, yeah. They're not plentiful. They're rare, but you do see them.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. Um, so Brandon, you do a lot of the. I saw that you had on your podcast. You have a lot of tree structures and the meanings of them.
That's correct.
Um, let us know a little bit about them. Let me see if I can find those pictures too,
All
because now
right.
that we're putting it in
So
here,
so to set this off straight, we're not going to know the meaning behind them unless one comes out and it's like, this is what this means, this is what that means. I mean, we can have speculation, but I don't like saying the meaning of things without knowing what it means, you know? Like we can have
exactly.
theories on it, but I mean, they're the ones doing it and we're the ones seeing it, but there's no equivalent answer as to what it means. But I could dive into those real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, man. What's up?
So the ones that a lot of people are relatively familiar with are like the tree breaks. That's something you could find on Finding Bigfoot that's allowed on national television. But beyond that, they make teepee structures. They make they do an X. They love making X's. That's one of their main uh, language symbols, as what I call it. Trident is when you have a tree that has three points like this. There's field goals. There could be a field goal trident, an X trident. There's a bunch of different things out there, man. And when you see it, you could be walking in the woods, and to the left of you is a completely cleaned out area where there's just pine cones and pine needles on the ground. And on the right side, you'll see a bunch of sticks all touching each other in like a grid formation. And I like to call those glyphs, ground glyphs. And you'll still see the same things: tridents, X's, all asterisks, a star glyph, all along the ground. And then you know, you're walking in the woods again. I know I'm getting a little sidetracked, but you come to a localized area where when you're seeing like 5X's, leaners, and the whole ground system is touching those aerial structures and creating a grid formation. That's what I call a wallow. And you'll find seats where they sit. I've filmed it many times.
Yeah,
Seats where they
yeah,
sit, big bowls in the ground. Um, it's just surreal, man. And when you're out there, they are watching you at all times. They knew the moment you got out of your car to go walk in their area. And it's not just Sasquatch out there. It's not just Dogman out there. It's I call them forest beings. There's just so many out there.
yeah.
Like this. Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome,
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
Sorry, I'm trying to get to people in the chat here too. But how long you been doing this, Brandon?
Since 2018, like
Nice.
really going out there since 2018 and filming since 2018. But
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
I believe since I was 7 years old. You know.
Your first excited at 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I got to see the Patterson Gimlin film when I was that young. I mean, it's been out for a long time, and I knew right away that that was 100% legit.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Cannot beat that one. Hey, Bruce, tell me more about the tree structures and stuff that are out there by you.
Well, we have a lot of Y formations. They can be either pushed in the ground with the Ys sticking up, or we can have them scattered on the ground, and whatever they spell out, I'm not for sure. I don't know what their wording is for it, but a lot of times you come to a cave entrance and you see this formation on the ground, and you know not to enter. They'll get real vocal if you pass that formation. We do have the X's here. You can have 10 or 15 X's within a half an acre spot. When you get close to where they're living at, whether it be in a cave, you'll see a lot of saplings about the size of your arm that are bent over and interlocked together for X's. Generally, that's going to be a clan. And
Like
that's
multiple family clan?
yes, you can have anywhere from 3 to 8 in a clan. And,
Wow. 3 to 8.
they'll,
Okay.
they'll pull the live trees over and cross them,
Got it.
and that lets you know they're non-aggressive. Everyone I've went across have been non-aggressive when they use live saplings or trees to pull over and tie together.
Yeah.
It'll generally be close to a really big tree that they can go up.
So you got to have some pretty good sized trees out there to
Yes.
have Bigfoot in one. But I've heard both Bigfoot and Dogman have gotten them way up trees, and the walkers. I think you said, right, Bruce?
Oh yeah, creeper or crawler. The crawler will go up a tree so fast it's you blink your eye, you'll lose him. I mean, he's quick. You're out there for nighttime and you've got a good flashlight, cut your light on, and he leaves a slime trail. You can follow him right up the side of the tree, and he'll go to the opposite side of the tree. And the best way I trick him is pick up a rock and throw it to the opposite side, and he'll come back around.
Kid. Jeez. Wow.
Those things I don't really like. Those things I don't really like dealing with because they're chalky white looking.
Where can we find those at, Bruce? Like how do you kind of get those ones to show their head, so to speak?
Well, when you're out Bigfoot researching from time to time, you'll run into one.
Okay.
And he'll try to get away from you if you see him. If you don't see him, he'll stalk you. And then once you see him, he'll try to get away from you. He'll go up a tree, and then you'll just take I'm talking a massive tree. I'm talking 55-gallon barrel sized trees. And then you just pick up a rock or a big stick and throw it below that tree, and he'll circle back around like a squirrel. And he'll be looking down the hill, and you're up the hill behind him looking straight at him.
Now, you think it's evil? You think it's demonic?
Yes, I would say it is. I'd say it's very evil. It's not. I don't think it's flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Because there's a few that I've seen that actually glowed. They'd have a white glow to them.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez. And I heard they use. Go ahead.
I had one in Pickett County, Tennessee, that went up a tree on me. Actually, he went up a bluff and then went up on a tree and a bluff. And by cutting my light off, I could follow the slime trail that glowed going up the tree, up the bluff and up the tree. So
Huh.
yeah, I
Wow.
think that's like a again, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems to be supernatural to me.
Yeah.
Now, Bruce, I had a quick question for you. Like in my area specifically, obviously Bigfoot is here. I mean, I've been researching the site for about 5 years.
Yeah.
What else is there out here that I would look out for in particular? Because I know a lot of weird, high, strange stuff happens here anyway, and there's just not a lot of explanation for any of what it is.
Check if you're researching an area, you want to check in the history. Go to the local library or that town or little community, and find out if you got any Indian mounds and stuff in the area you're at. When you get on those areas, the natives put out spiritual guides, protectors, and you never know what you're going to get and what it's going to look like. It could be a dog man, it could be a Bigfoot, but not actually a Bigfoot.
Yeah. I just got the chills. There's a Potawatomi burial ground about 7-8 miles down the road from the research site.
Right. See, that's what you got to watch, because in those mounds, it goes back thousands of years. The natives during the Ice Age, Ice Age people buried in mounds, and then they're layered. Over the thousands of years, they'll use the same mounds, and even the Cherokee, Choctaw, and so on will use that same mound, and it's layered up. So when they excavate those mounds, they always find the giants in the bottom layer.
Okay.
But they're very spiritual, and they can't be there all the time, because during the Ice Age, they were nomads. They moved a lot with the food.
Oh, yeah.
So they put spiritual protections on them. And when you cross those areas unknowingly, then you can get into crawlers, the giant gugways that have double rows of teeth. You can get into most recently, I got into one was a dogman face type creature with a 50-foot wingspan, probably weighed 1,000 pounds. His horns was like a goat's horns, but they were turned the opposite way. They were turned frontwards.
Oh,
and that come from the vicinity of a skinwalker cave, to where across from a mound they put the skinwalkers, hemmed up crawlers in this deep cave, and then the medicine women or shaman sealed the cave with all of them in it.
wow. I did hear about that.
So that was recent.
Was it recent, and it was just open recently?
Yeah, they recently opened it up with heavy equipment. The private landowners did that come in and bought it, recent new buyers, to make some kind of recreation area, picnic area or something for their family. And doing that, they only got it half finished, and all construction stopped. So I don't know what happened there. I haven't been able to get them to talk to me. So I'm pretty sure they got scared pretty bad over that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so are they ancient, Bruce? I mean, are they ancient, or are they fairly new? What do they call them? Thoughts that everybody expresses together and something happens. I can't think of what it's called.
These are ancient. There to protect. Yeah, to seal them in that cave and keep them in there. They're ancient spirits, and to get them under control. A skinwalker is a spirit that uses a animal skin and stretches over it, and it becomes that animal. And then the crawlers are something that they don't want around the burial mounds, because they will eat on the dead.
Oh.
So
yeah.
skinwalkers will hem them up in a cave, and you can get several 8 or 9 crawlers and 8 or 9 skinwalkers into a cave. Then your shamans or medicine women will curse that cave spiritually, then they'll seal it off where the crawlers or the skinwalkers can't get out, because a skinwalker will shape shift on you. It can mimic about anything it wants to.
Yeah. Wow. Pam's got a question here. Do you feel crawlers have a lower intelligence if they follow a rock at the base of a tree?
Do they have a lower intelligence?
I don't think so. Soldiers used to fall for that trick. I mean, it's a decoy. They're going to look
Right.
where the noise is, and then anybody's going to fall for it. It's instinctual.
Right. Yeah, you can take, like I said, you could be out squirrel hunting and the squirrel spots you, and he'll go around the tree to the opposite side. But if you'll throw a rock or stick past that tree to the opposite side, he'll spin back around on the side you're on.
Okay.
The crawlers do the same thing.
Do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know how you end up dealing with all this, brother. I really don't.
Well,
You do pretty. I'd be a little worried about being out there, but
I got
I've
a
been
question
doing-
for Brandon, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dude, what is like one of the most common ones to look for? I mean, pretty much, I'm like anything you're going to find pretty much anywhere. I'm in an urban environment and we have them here. What should I look for specifically? Or is these like a universal thing?
Are you talking structures wise?
Yeah. Yep.
I'd say you're going to find leaners 100%. You're going to find brakes 100%. If you start finding X's, follow those. Just follow them, and they're gonna lead you to some really amazing places. And tridents. Look for tridents.
Okay.
You can't have one without the other. So, but I want to get back to what Bruce was saying.
go ahead.
I feel
Back
like
at ya.
I feel like all these beings have either special abilities, whether it's magic, tech, or I believe they're angelic beings. And you can't have good without evil. So and that's with people too. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a balance. And I've been going out in the woods, like I said, since 2018. I've never had a bad experience. Maybe that's because like the good forest beings, like the Sasquatch and what have you, are protecting me in those certain situations. I've never dealt with a mountain lion, a bear like in any of my travels, knock on wood. I think they're there and they enjoy us like filming their art and language and putting it out to the public, starting with a good foundation of the truth, because who knows where this is going to lead in the next 15 years, it's the foundation right now. And, when you're out in those areas here, it's really hard because they're literally forest ninjas. They don't give you a lot, but if you go to Colorado, Oregon, somewhere where you guys are over there, where it's much more rural areas, they're going to give you more, like whistling, wood knocks, like they're going to do the whole nine. But here, these mountains are so small that they can only do so much, there's just so many people around, if that makes sense. Just the other day, I was in a place called Deep Creek. It's pretty hot with activity. I can't think of any like recent accounts, but like in the 70s, it was a lot of people were saying that they had seen stuff down there. And I just went down there last Sunday and I was filming, and I felt like I was being zapped. I don't know if you guys know about infrasound or anything like that.
Yes,
Right?
I've had it happen a couple times. It's no joke. It ain't no joke.
Yeah, I've been accustomed to it so many times that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably zapped right now, and I'm literally pointing at an X and structures on a hillside. I've never been. This is my first time at this location, and I couldn't see the one I had a camera on until I got home. But right behind me, you just hear a mouth pop right behind me because I'm pointing at them, and they're trying to distract me. And it's not the first time that's ever happened, but when I got home, I saw the one that I got, and it's the classic Sasquatch, hairy head, open face, has he's pushing the top of his head on the X structure. So whatever they do with that, it's like their magic or whatever, you know. They can become a tree, they can become a rock, but it's not what it looks like, if that makes sense. A stump, you know, we call them stump tricks. It's you know, this used to be classified as like the woo side and then the ape side. Like we all need, like, there's none of that in my opinion. Like there's just so much out there.
You're right. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've gone several times where I've, you know, tried to take the boat together and lay it out for people just to try to, and it's crazy, but I know of a family where the son won't believe in the woo, and the dad won't believe in the opposite. So, or no, I'm
There's
sorry.
a possibility with that though, because I mean, I believe that some of them have the powers like Bruce believes, and some of them don't. Some of them might be just more primate than anything, you know, like the earlier, or even the more, I would think that from the early bloodlines on down, now it would get diluted. I mean, there's going to be a breeding population, but they're not going to have the same ability that the, you know, first generation Sasquatch are going to have. That's just my opinion. And if you think about it in like a biological and evolutionary sense.
Right.
Yeah, I got something on that. So you look at back in 1967 when Patty was filmed, right? They were filming with a camera, you had a crank, you know, really early camera technology. And she was wide out in the wide open, just walking, you know. You saw a little bit more of it in the early 2000s. People were still using 8mm tape cameras back then, if I can remember properly, like older tech. Got some pretty good footage of them, but now everything's digital, like digital and all that. You're not seeing as much footage of Sasquatch as you did back then. And maybe this was my theory on it. Maybe their technology has gotten better with time, just like ours has, and they're able to stay out of eyesight. But you know, our eyes can only see a certain frequency, just like cats and dogs can see things we can't. And then our cameras can see more than our eyes can. So there's been many times where I've been filming and I'm looking and I don't see anything, but when I get home, it's right there, right on the camera. You know, it's insane. It blows my mind every single time.
It's like you start as a believer, and then when you have an experience, you're like, okay, now, you know, it's over with. The research is never going to stop. You know, you're never going to stop going down the rabbit hole, and it just grows and grows. But then the experiences increase too. It's like the more time you spend in a research area, the more relationship you establish with those particular Sasquatch.
Right.
Yes, they have to get used to you. They perceive you as a threat. So they have to get used to you. After a time, they get used to you, and then they'll accept you in. First, they'll make offerings. They'll leave offerings, and then once they accept you in, then you become
like the wreath, Bruce. By the way, that wreath I made, like obviously I couldn't weave it like the one they left, but I think it's more about the meaning. At first, I put it nearby on a Y stick on the ground. A couple of days later, I just went for a hike out there, and it was still on the ground, and I just had like an instinct to put it on the same hook where the one they left mine was. Yep. So I picked it up with a Y stick and put it on the very same area where they left mine. And plus it's off the ground, so more eyes are going to see it faster. So I haven't been out there in about a week in that spot. So if I go out there and it's gone, who knows what's going to happen? I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Right. Yeah.
I was taken. Sorry, got off topic. I was taken to this spot up in these mountains, San Bernardino National Forest, about 5 years ago with a guy named Tim, Angela Sasquatch. He no longer has a channel. I don't know why he got rid of his channel, but we pull up there and there's like a bunch of teepees just everywhere. We're talking like a full village looking thing. Every single one of them is different. If you guys watch my channel, you can check that out. I went 2 years after that. They were all completely gone. No sticks were on the ground. It was just completely wiped clean. We had just went this past Saturday, and this was what, 3 years after that. Everything's back, just a little bit different, but the full village is back. And we found two full teepees wrapped around into the cross point with string that was glued together by tree sap. And then at the base of this tree, there was some sort of weird glyph on the ground. It was 2 straight sticks and then 3 kind of curved sticks on top of that. And on the tree itself was a piece of string glued together by tree sap to an acorn husk, like a little necklace. And I have that at my house. I was gonna bring it and show you guys, but it's down there. So,
That sounds like a gift.
it did. That's exactly what I said on video. I was like, let us know if this is okay to take. So my girlfriend left a pin that was on her hat on the same tree, and we want to go camping there soon to see if they took it or not. So
Very cool.
they're very active out here.
So it disappeared, and then they come back 2 to 3 years later and made another one.
Exactly, like 20 different teepees in the same area, the same exact 5 years ago.
We here, the researchers here, and myself especially, call that the wedding rituals. They do marry out. They don't interbreed. So there'll be 2 clans to get together, and they'll put those structures up. Those structures will stay for a few weeks, and then they'll take them down. It's like a gathering, and those gifts are gifting to each other's families.
Gotcha. So I shouldn't have taken that then.
Right. If
Okay.
it's on the ground like that, don't take it. If it's a
Okay.
wreath or a Y stick with a gift on it, you can take it, but make sure you leave a gift in return.
Yeah, that's what we
With-
did.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You want to go ahead and talk about some encounter stories, Bruce, and then I'll go.
Yeah. What do y'all want to hear?
Yeah.
I've got so many.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
pick a
was gonna say-
season, pick a year, pick a state, pick a country.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Yeah.
have
I
one.
mean, he's had that many, Brandon.
Okay. You want me to
Okay,
go
we'll
then?
go. I'll go. We'll start with the Warrior's Path. The Warrior's Path is one of the oldest trade routes in the United States. Comes straight through the middle of Tennessee into Kentucky and goes all the way through to Florida. That's one of my big research areas here in Tennessee. The Warrior's Path has the most cave systems on it. So I stay in those areas, and I have Cumberland River runs close to it, and the Dale Holler Lake, Cumberland Lake, Cumberland River. I get into some good encounters, and I get, most all of my encounters are real good. Every now and then I'll challenge one and then get thrown in the lake or something, but I have dogman encounters also. My Bigfoot have been the clan Bigfoot mostly. One of my clans is led by a big female. She wears snail shells and mussel shells out of the river in her hair. It's braided in her hair, and she leads her clan.
Cool.
We've
That's so cool.
we have sat down just feet apart. Now, most of the time they don't sit like we do. They bend their knees like an Asian person does and squats. They communicate with a tree frog. Have you ever heard of tree frog? Well,
I have not.
Oh.
No.
a tree frog's got a sort of a high pitch, but it doesn't carry far. It's not something like a Bigfoot scream or howl. One thing that she taught me is, of course, she's close to probably 7.5, 8 foot tall, a good 1,200 pounds. One of the things she taught me by observing her is not to do tree knocks. So, so I joined them on, at that time I didn't know was a hunt, and they had certain areas. They talk like tree frogs. It's like a chirp. Now they can mimic anything. They'll mimic an owl. Okay, when they all got in their spots, it takes a little bit longer for another to get into a spot. He'll make a tree knock back to let them know he's in his spot. So if you go in the woods, she taught me if as a human going in the woods making tree knocks, they know that's not them, and every now and then they'll get a knock back. You'll get a knock back, but it's going to be from a big dominant male that you don't want to have an encounter with. So it's best not to do the tree knocks because you mess up their hunting. That's how they hunt and know the locations. And if a tree knock comes from an area, they know that Bigfoot was supposed to be on this side, but the tree knock come up the holler. They know it's not one of them. So you give your location away.
Yeah.
And then if you mess up their hunting, then you can get what we call a bluff charge. They can come up and either bluff charge you, or they'll leave the area entirely and go over another mountain and set up another hunt.
Will they take down the other stuff, like Brandon had said? If they've already been out there and we got the tree structures of not to be in that area, would that, how do I say that? Is that something that we kind of screw up for them? Is it?
Not really, because I call them nomads. They move with the nut crops. They move with the food harvest. You might go into a section of woods that you've had several encounters and not see that particular bunch for 3 months. But then if you move 3 miles up or down the river, you'll run back into them.
Is that because of the caloric intake between a family of, well, either Bigfoot or Dogman?
Yeah. But Dogman he's more of a loner. Now I've had 2 or 3 incidents where I've had 4 or 5 dogmen, but Dogman stays more as a loner. They do breed. I found a Dogman puppy on a vine. Spent some time with him, and its mother. I'm assuming it was its mother. She never showed me from the chest down when she was walking through a thicket, but I named her Laser Eyes because her eyes was red, and on my camouflage clothes I was wearing, there was 2 razor dots on my chest, about half the size of a coffee cup, bottom of a coffee cup.
And as a cop, that's not comforting.
No. And she basically followed me all the way to my vehicle, just a few yards from my vehicle. And at that time, when I got ready to leave, I had to back out because I'd pulled out a logging road. I had to back up and turn around, and she jumped on top of my car.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that. I had just seen that you were on Vic's show too, Vic Undiff show. So I was watching that this morning, going, "Hey, there we go, yeah." And then Jessica, the Cryptid Huntress, another one that's just great show. Great show.
Yeah, I've done 2 shows with Vic.
Yeah. Oh, you've done 2 now.
Yeah.
We had him. We had him join our group, and as much as I hate to say it, and as much as I've complained about it, we ran Vic off. Basically, he was coming in. He was asking, answering questions and stuff. We had him in one of our groups, and somebody went off on him, and he was gone. Thank God that he and I have kept in contact, just kind of through Messenger and whatnot. But yeah. I'm highly embarrassed on that one. So it's been a while, but I got to come clean because not everything is perfect in this world. So I started it, so I'm the one that has to let it out. So
you can't control what other members do. So
nope.
Just
when
how
I first
is.
when I first come out, people jumped on me with both feet. You know, just
I want to jump back in before I share some encounter stories. A little bit more about the structures, not like, because the podcast kind of gets you sometimes. But anyway, so I've been in some areas where I feel like Sasquatch are very clean with their structures, like the trees they use and the areas they prefer, very clean, right? I've been in places where it's more witchy looking, like spider webby structures, and that's what I feel like Dogman and what we call the other forest beings in habitat and coincide there. But there is a difference, but it's the same language, just a little bit different is what I'm trying to get at. Something to that, and then some of my encounters, this is several years ago, just coming back from work, looked on my phone because I use Google Maps for research locations. I think it's a great tool, how to use it, and headed up to Crestline before I lived here. And I parked, was walking down this steep slope. It's pretty open, a lot of foxtails. Hate foxtails. And I see this stump on the ground, and it kind of catches my attention. And there's this, like, opening inside of it, and there's these huge eyes looking at me, and it completely, like, it's blacked out in there. And I have my camera at my side, and here's where infrasound comes in, because why did I not take my camera and point it on this thing, right? So there's a log right next to it. I sit down, and I am kind of basically saying how corrupt the world is. This was, I think, 2023. And it's just staring at me. It's not a squirrel. It's not anything that I've ever seen. And I think like 3 minutes goes by. You hear 3 faint wood knocks in front of me, like down the way. And then 3 faint on my right, only to where I can hear them. And this thing can hear them, because they're not doing it for me. They're doing it for this thing that I'm looking at. Right. Because this is out of the norm. So what this thing does is it sticks and we're talking like the blackest thing that you could think of, squiggly little hand that comes out of the stump. And it's like the sunlight is affecting it a little bit, but it was physical, and it grabs a little piece of a bark X in front of it and disappears in front of my eyes. This went on for 3 minutes. Another one, I was in a place called Keller's Peak up here in the San Bernardino National Forest. Again, camera down. I'm upwind from whatever this was, up on a hill. And I come to where it drops off. And this cinnamon brown colored being is sitting about 40 yards down, hears me, turns up and looks at me, and then goes around a corner within a second, gone. If it was a deer, you would have heard that thing crashing through the woods, I really think they are interdimensional. They have abilities that we don't. And it just was gone. I went down there, no sign of it, no tracks, no nothing. I've had things thrown near me. They won't throw anything at you, I don't think, unless they're like really the bad ones, I should say. They're just trying to get your attention, but yeah, I'm trying to think of any more off the top of my head. A lot of teepees, man. I love the teepees. You just get a natural high out there seeing any structure, really.
Have you found them made with vines?
I've seen structures tied by vines, but not those. Yeah.
They will take vines. They will take vines, and then they'll crisscross those vines and make lodges.
Okay.
And here in the Appalachian Mountains, we get a lot of those.
You know those big nests that you see up in trees, like in the V's up top, like the big black nests, like we have here in Michigan. I swear I've seen them in there. I swear I've got them on video up in them nests.
Yeah, they'll use those nests. They'll make those nests. At first, you'll think it's a big eagle's nest.
Right.
But once you get to watching it, you'll figure it out that it's not an eagle's nest. I've got a picture that I took with a digital, and I wished I'd have kept the old style 35 millimeter. And every time I take a picture of this huge nest, I mean, there's 8 or 10 grown men can go into this nest. And it was built on the ground. It was built out of cedar trees, and it was intertwined to where you couldn't pull it apart. And every time I take a picture, it'd be blurry. I'd move my camera to the left side of the blind, with the blind out of the picture, I'd get a perfect picture. Move it to the right, get a perfect picture. So I eased up to the blind and realized they were inside of it. So I had some in that blind, but they weren't aggressive. And so, again, it goes back to, I believe the cameras, the new digital cameras and stuff that we have now, they pick up the aurora, they pick up the energy off of these buildings, and that's what they focus on, and why you're not getting perfect pictures. Because something that big has got a lot of energy. I've taken deer pictures, pictures of cattle, stuff like that, and had the same thing happen. And then you could get a twig in front of you that you don't see when you take your camera footage, and then you take your camera footage, you know you got a perfect picture. Can't wait to get back home to look at it, and then when you look at it, you've got a picture of a piece of weed or a little tiny branch sticking out, and just a blur behind it. Yeah.
That's what I think. Go ahead.
The pixels pick up too quick on that, and they're distorted too quick.
And that's why I think they're more on the interdimensional side, because like we're in the woods and they're in the woods, but they're in a different plane than us at that time, because you could be in their areas and they'll be right around you and you won't know. And when you take a picture or a video, then you see them, but you didn't see them with your eyes at that moment. So that kind of goes, you know.
Well, you got 3 or 4 different types. You know, you got what I call the Ice Age ones, who've mastered the technique of being a chameleon, and then you've got the interdimensional ones, and then you got what I call extraterrestrial ones, and then you've got the biolab ones.
Right.
They can have a mechanical eye or anything. They're flesh and blood, but one part of them will be mechanical. So you have several different types out there. Mostly, I deal with the flesh and blood ones. You get into a rogue, or you accidentally make one mad, you can find yourself in a bad spot quick. I'll give you, for instance, in the early 80s, we had a bus driver at 6:20 to 6:30 every morning. Him and the kids on the bus was seeing a bear walk across the road on his back legs with a cub. Well, in that certain area, there hadn't been bears there in 100+ years. So the school superintendent gets a hold of me, and me and him are friends. I own his property. And he tells me I need to talk to this bus driver, do him a favor. Go up and talk to the bus driver. He tells me where he's seeing, where it's at. Well, I know the guy that owns the property there. He's a park ranger, and he owns a farm next to mine. So we go up there and get ahead of myself. He wants to go and I want to go that night. He agrees to go. He tells his brother-in-law about it. His brother-in-law works for Ford Motor Company. He's got a brand new Ford truck, 4-wheel drive. So he says, y'all take my truck. Well, this man's son wanted to go. So since a brand new truck, we let the man's son, he was 18 years old, drive. And we went up there to where it was crossing, and we pulled on the upper side of the barn at nighttime, and using a jackrabbit squeal call, we knew if it was a bear, we wouldn't be able to shoot it, because if we did, we'd be in a lot of trouble, because there wasn't supposed to be any bears in that part of the country to start with. And but we figured out we'll get a couple coyotes, a fox, or something out of the deal. Well, during this call, we were up in the back of the truck with our guns laying on the quilt on the cab of the truck, and we had the young man to keep our spotlight plugged into the cigarette lighter where it wouldn't pull out. When we run this call, just a few minutes, about 8 or 10 minutes, we heard this god-awful screaming, commotion and stuff up on the hill. Well, whatever this was, it was at a distance at that time, and we'd cut the spotlight on and was fixing to shoot. I can't remember if it was a coyote or a fox. And I said, hold up a minute. I told the guy with me in the back of the truck, I said, hold up a minute. It was coming off that point, and you could hear trees breaking. And in just a minute, it stepped out in the field, and it was a massive Bigfoot. Of course, Bigfoot was the last thing on our mind. And we were just shocked. Well, it tore out running towards us, and right a good 10 to 15, maybe 20 yards behind the truck, it stopped. Well, we knew we were going to have to shoot it. There's no way we could get out of the back of the truck and in the truck to get away. Well, thank goodness we'd left that young man on the driver's seat to keep her spotlight plugged in. So we both took aim on it and was fixing to shoot it, and it let out this terrible sound, and it shocked us just like we were tased. Our muscles were locked. We couldn't even pull the trigger on our guns. Well, about that time, the boy took off in the truck with us in the back of it. Okay, we fell down in the truck. I was going over the tailgate, and the park ranger caught me and drug me back in. And we come through the barnyard and through the gate. The gate was open, and we hit the dirt road, made a left, and this thing was running us. And I mean, we got up to 40, 45 mile an hour, and it was still behind the truck. And it was a big male, and he was mad at the world. And we lost him in a straight stretch. The young boy got the truck up pretty fast, but sliding all over the road. We figured he'd wrecked it, but we pulled into his mom and daddy's there, which was the park ranger's sister and brother-in-law. The boy jumped out of the truck and left it running. And I don't know if it was his daddy had come out and met us at the truck. I don't know if his daddy put it in park or one of us put it in park. I just don't remember. And then just a minute, we was telling the daddy what had happened there. The mother comes out of the house screaming bloody murder. Something's wrong with her son. So we all run in there, and he's in shock. He can't talk. What had happened on those trucks back then, they had those big side mirrors outside that mounted on the door, and he had seen it through our spotlight, and it scared him to death. But that was the only aggressive one that I knew that we were dead. You know, he was just that mad, and he was a massive creature. We went back up there. We lost part of our guns, fell off the cab of the truck, and we had to go back up there the next day. And we ended up with the stocks busted on one gun, and another gun just scratched up. But we found the tracks there in the barnyard because the cattle had been moved 2 weeks prior to that. And I was wearing a 9.5 to 10 inch boot. When I laid it sideways in the track, my boot still liked a good inch being as wide as the track. And when I put my heel of my boot in the heel of this track and put my other foot boot heel to the toe of my heel, I still liked another 1.5 to 2 inches being as long as the track. We got into, that was the first one I ever made mad, and the last one. So I watch what I do with calls when I'm messing with stuff like that. So every now and then I'll get out on a gravel bar. Happened to me twice. I've been on a gravel bar several times in the middle of the Cumberland River, especially for wintertime when it's down, and make some aggressive calls. Nothing happened, and sitting there fishing, and it's pretty cold. And I mean, pretty cold. It's wintertime. It's cold. I've got coveralls on. And one particular night, nothing happened, but I was catching the early run of catfish coming in out of the river, out of deep water. This was end of February. It was still cold weather. And I was way out on the gravel bar, and I was like, there's no, if one comes up, I'll hear him walking. Well, after an hour of calling and off and on, and nothing happening, I just went to fishing. And it wasn't but 45 minutes or so, something picked me in the bucket, both of us, and threw us in the lake, in the river. When I come up, I had a headlamp on, I had off. I hit it twice mistakenly, and it strobed, and it was a big male standing on the gravel bar looking right at me. He sort of just gave me this funny look and turned around and walked off. But I never heard him when he walked off on the gravels either. And that always amazed me how massive they were. But I could walk on the gravels, and I sound like a herd of cattle coming down through there.
Yeah. I tell you, man, anybody would kill for one of your encounters, but all of them, I don't think people could handle that. With as much as you've seen, brother. That's crazy. Pam's got a question here.
Yeah.
She up real quick with this. Where to go? Oh.
I'll fit Pam.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's one from Lori. Are you able to see that, Bruce? I can barely read it. It says, if they're able to utilize infrasound, which is out of hearing range, then they would be able to utilize anything else in that frequency range.
Cloaking.
Also explains cloaking.
Yeah. Well, I call cloaking the chameleon effect. The flesh and blood ones can just vanish right into the woods instantly. You blink your eye and they're gone, so you think it's supernatural, but it's not. They have that chameleon effect. They're the master of the woods. The infrasound, I was put in the hospital once over being hit with infrasound. I call it zapping. It caused the bottom of my heart to beat an extra beat. Took 3 days before it went back to normal.
Same thing with my. Oh, go ahead.
I was hit hard by a dog, man, that got me on that one.
I was going to say, mind speak is also has to do with infrasound and being zapped as well. Telepathy.
Yeah. I followed a group of Bigfoot that I had been in the creek sitting down talking to, and I had followed them back to a cave. And they, when I got to the cave, there's another voice in the cave telling me no, another Bigfoot. So when I left, I thought, well, got to thinking about it when I got home, maybe they were hungry, because while we was sitting in the creek, the female was trying to tell me something, but I didn't understand what she was saying, and then she started using hand signals, and one of them was to her mouth. So I got to thinking when I got home, maybe they were hungry. So I went back and I passed a pecan stand in Carthage, Tennessee, on Highway 25. So I got my vehicle, drove back to the pecan stand, and bought 2 big old bags of pecans. I went back there. Time I got back to the cave, it was already dark. And when I decided to bust the bags open and pour the pecans out, but as I started to do that, they started saying thank you coming out of the cave. So I just laid the bags down on a big flat rocker in front of the cave. And then when I walked back, probably a good mile and a half to my vehicle, all I could hear was thank you, over and over. And that was mind speak.
Definitely keep going there. There's not
Awesome.
no problem.
We're listening, brother. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
But that was, I later determined that was mind speak because there's no way I could hear them at that distance. At the cave, I didn't know it was mind speak. It just sounded like 2 people talking back and forth, they thank you. I'd say you're welcome, and when I left, I had to go back up the side of the mountain, through the woods and back to an old road, farming road, and to the vehicle, but I could hear it all the way back to the vehicle.
Did it sound like your voice in your head or a different voice?
No, it was a different voice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a record repeating itself.
The same thing, just you mean over and over?
Yeah, over and over. Yeah.
When did it stop?
It stopped when I got in the car and started the car up to leave. That's when it stopped.
Gotcha. Wow.
Interesting.
Larry, you got any questions? Oh, go ahead, Bruce. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
When I started the car and cut the headlights on because it was dark by the time I got back to the car, as soon as I done that, it stopped.
Crazy. It's weird to hear stuff like that, and then you say, "Oh, I would love to have that happen to me."
Right.
Was that something that you would have thought you would have not wanted by listening to them over and over?
No, because this was a friendly clan of Bigfoot. I mean, they were more interested in me, I guess, than anything else. And after being there several weeks in those same woods, and I found the tracks, I found all the markers to indicate they were there. After a few days, they got used to me. I just go down through there talking out loud, and they got used to me. And eventually, one of them stepped out, just feet from me. I mean, I could reach and touch it. Of course, it sort of stuns you at first, but then you see a friendly gesture. And what I mean by that is that you get this overwhelming sense of they're not dangerous. It's not a growl or aggressive behavior. They don't get into aggressive stance. You feel a calming effect come over your body. You don't get scared. You don't get startled. And again, that could be due to the calming of mind speak. But generally, a tree frog makes that loud noise, but doesn't carry far. So I get a lot of that. I've even had what I thought was squirrels barking at me, and it would be a Sasquatch. I've even had my name called at nighttime in the woods. You have never feeling threatened by them.
Do you think that if it was a rogue that you would recognize differently from like a trust?
If it was a rogue, and you were out in the woods and you weren't anywhere near a vehicle or a safe place, you'd be dead.
Gotcha.
A rogue is he's just for lack of a better word, pissed off at the world.
Yeah,
He's very aggressive.
that's incredible. Especially to be able to tell from that type of response too. I mean, that's incredible. Really is.
You'll
Larry,
get
you
a
want to hit us with real quick the sponsor? You there, Larry? Okay.
A rogue, from Dogman or Bigfoot. A rogue was probably kicked out of the clan, and then a loner dog man. I think they run in packs, small packs, but I'm sure they have rules too. And if you break the rules, you're out. And
right.
when they're out on their own, they're more aggressive because they're out setting new boundaries and territories. And so, yeah, I would rather run into a clan than a single one any day.
What if they
Well-
chose to leave that clan? They weren't kicked out. What if they chose to leave it?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Generally, the ones that I've encountered have all been kicked out. The same way with the Bigfoot.
Aren't there some that have to leave at a certain age or not allowed to stay in the clan?
Yeah, that's
It could
the
be.
smart.
Set their own
The smarter-
territories and start families of their own.
It's just like
That
with
wouldn't make
bears.
them a rogue, but
Bears will leave. They'll get pushed out of the clan about 2 to 3 years old, and then they'll travel 150 miles to a place they eventually can call home. There's really no difference in the Bigfoot and the dog man. Bigfoot clans are more around the river, are more gentle. The Bigfoot clans in the mountains, further away from the rivers and stuff, they're more aggressive, meaning they're more vocal and they tend to fight with the clans on the river. The dog man you can see anywhere at any time. They're more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but they're more to follow you. They'll circle you like a prey and then follow you out. You just have to keep an eye on them.
yeah. The last encounter I had, I wasn't scared at all, hardly.
Right.
It seemed more curious than anything, but
Yeah.
the first one, I wouldn't have climbed down out of the tree for nothing. So,
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's
that don't
You gotta
mean
have
the
some
next
amazing
one's going to be
trust.
friendly.
Well, you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, it's just like I tell people, I go in the woods and have these encounters all the time, but I try to stick to the ones I know. If I go to new areas, I like to be with somebody who knows the area, because you don't know what you're going to get into.
No.
Now,
You run in.
are the rogues are they? They're not. Somebody had said that they were dismissed. Rogues are being dismissed because they were killing food that or unalived food. My mistake. If what was I going to say now? It was. I don't know. I can't even remember what I was going to say anymore. But
You were talking about the rogues being aggressive.
yeah. So if the rogues are aggressive and they are unaliving food or animals for no reason, that's one of the reasons that they are dismissed. Is that sound right, or is that just a theory somebody said?
Yeah, well, generally a rogue Bigfoot won't kill a animal just to be killing. They kill to eat. But us as humans, we we tend to, believe it or not, look more like them. We are all different, but we're the same. And if you get to messing with them by making calls or getting in their turf or messing their hunting up by doing tree knocks and stuff, that's when a rogue will end up killing you or unaliving you.
Going back to what they eat, I've seen countless times of these giant eateries of pine nuts and pine cones, like feet deep, massive, especially in Colorado when I was going out there. Do you have any familiarity with the pine cone eating, Bruce?
Yes, that's high in vitamin C. They'll eat the center out to get the vitamin C out of it.
Yeah, I find that very fascinating. Along with bones too on those same eateries, and you can
Yeah.
physically
Get the
see
marrow
teeth.
out of the bones.
Yep, they suck the marrow out, and you can see the human-like teeth pattern on the bone itself. You might find like a piece of a bone like that big, left. But
The
Yeah, they're
ones
after the marrow.
the ones I found in the mountains generally will carry a piece of bone with them to suck on it for the calcium.
Gotcha.
They'll gnaw on it like we would a beef jerky or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I really have. Jeez. It's crazy.
I
Yeah.
think Bigfoot are a lot like bears. They'll eat meat, but they eat berries and vegetation and like the
Their favorite-
primates,
Their
Chimpanzees eat meat, gorillas eat meat, but
Right.
their
But-
basic diet is vegetation. So I mean,
Their favorite nut is a walnut.
Oh yeah. You were saying that the other day. That's right.
Walnut.
Yeah, I
They like
always say-
cantaloupe too. I found too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the cantaloupe.
Yeah.
If you're in an urban area where farmers are growing stuff, cantaloupe, watermelon, squash. They'll tear a squash field all to pieces. They don't mess with strawberries and stuff too much. I don't know why, unless it's too
that's
acidy.
good.
For
I
one.
got a bunch of strawberries.
GMOs.
But they will eat blueberries, raspberries. That's the urban areas. But when you get out into the several miles away from these urban areas, they're mostly nut eaters and
A lot of browse and woody stuff.
right. They will eat grubs. They will eat deer. I was on a bluff in Coker Creek, Tennessee, which sits right on the North Carolina border. And the place I was in, the creek, the town is called Coker Creek, and the creek that runs the other side of the town is called Coker Creek, and it follows a massive glacier ridge that's millions of years old, and it's straight up. And I've seen them take a rock and hit a deer in the neck and drop it in its tracks, and from a long ways away.
Wow.
Wow. That's and they throw things at us and we think, oh well, they missed. No.
Generally when they throw things at us, we're messing up their hunting and they want us to move.
I'm glad you said that because that was one of the theories that I had in my mind, and I was just like,
That's
nah,
why
I'm
it
not
frequently happens around game trails when you get pebbles and sticks thrown at you.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but they purposely don't hit you. They're not trying to hit you.
Well, they
No.
know like the exact range and
Yep.
all that stuff.
See, they perceive us as a threat. We're in their household. When we go in the woods in their territory, they perceive us as a threat. But at the same time, they recognize us as a species similar to theirs. There's 21 human species. They could very easily be 22 and 23. So
Wow.
since they look like us, except being so massive and covered in hair, their facial features and stuff are just like ours. No two of us look the same. So you've got to look at, you will see some that have that fat place that looks like an Asian.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got that tan skin. I call it buckskin. You'll have the black ones, the red-haired ones. Well, a lot of people get them mixed up because early of the morning and late in the evening, they look like they're solid black when they actually got a red tint to them.
Well,
So if you shine a light on one of the nighttime, he'll look jet black, but he's got a red tint. He's got red hair. It just shows up black.
now is that flat black that people talk about, where it's so dark, it's darker than a shadow?
Right. Yep.
It is.
Yep. And when you get a
Bruce,
little dew on them,
sorry, finish, and then I had a question. Sorry about that. I had a question for you. That
oh yeah, go ahead.
theory. Now you know what lenticular sheets are, obviously.
Right.
If we had some lenticular sheets that were, enough to cover us up, would that
Hmm.
askew their vision? Because it's almost an invisibility cloak. Let's be honest. Would that be a good experiment if nobody's tried that before?
I wouldn't do it because if you trick them, they can become aggressive.
Okay. So
So
that
you
tells
won't.
me it's probably going to work then, and not to
Yeah.
do it.
Right. You don't want them to get too close to you and make them feel like they're cornered.
Okay.
Surprise them. You're better off to talk out loud. If you come up on one, just start talking out normally, just like we're talking, and you can say things like your name, talk about the weather, talk about if you're in the spring branch, we like to call it. Talk about the water, how cool the water is, pretty rocks and stuff. Just keep a conversation going to where they remember you, and then if you've got somebody with you, make sure they stay a distance away from you, because if they don't go in there as much as you do, it will just delay them coming out to meet you. They will come out and meet you once they get to know that you're not a threat. They will meet you.
Wow, that's incredible. Gosh, you got me kind of crazy right now, Bruce. I've got so many questions that other people have asked, but I think they'll eventually learn here. So, we have, let's see, what is it? Where is it? We have so many people in the chat tonight. I'm not used to it, so it's interesting having this many people. So,
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
That's a very good
definitely.
thing. It's an engaging
Yeah.
conversation.
I'm always
And
saying
now-
thank you and like brother and like all kinds of stuff out there when I'm out
Right.
there, like very positive things.
Yeah,
I tell them
definitely.
like all those people driving by, bad humans, they don't understand, that they're there to just litter and destroy the land. I'm not here to do that.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Right. If you see one, instead of pointing at him, do this. Hold your hand to your chest and go like this
Gotcha.
while you're talking.
Wow.
And they will respond, because that's how they respond when they're talking to you in their language. They make their hand signals like this. They
Did you
grab
do that just walking down the trail? Because they're already watching you. With that,
Yeah.
right. Talk away and just do this. And when you're doing this, it's telling them that you're an all right person and this is the way you're going.
Okay.
And so they will set up a observation of you. And like I said, at the point that they get comfortable with you, they will interact. If you get one that throws a rock a few feet in front of you, you need to stop and turn around and go back, but keep talking. If you get some unusual sound that shouldn't be out in the daytime, but you've heard it at nighttime, then just stop and sit down,
Okay.
and just start talking. Break you out something to eat or something to drink, and just hang out there. And if they decide to come out at that time, there'll be one come out. Now you got to watch the juveniles; they get a little rambunctious. They will run across in front of you. They'll come off of one hill and out behind the laurel thicket and run across in front of you. But they they don't mean any harm. They just don't. They're not to that level to understand the danger that a human can cause them. Because a lot of hunters, people out there have seen one, would shoot it. And,
The
Right.
last experience that I had it was terrifying but exhilarating because I go out there, we know what we can expect, just even having this as a hobby, you know what I mean? The
Right.
closest thing I can say for down here, and we haven't had a black bear sighting down here in a really long time, but the face of this creature, if we are trying to debunk first, I would have to say it looks like a black bear. And black bears in Southeast Michigan, yeah, it happens coming through, but
Mhm.
it ain't happened in like 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and it's around hunting time. So a lot of game trails out there. I can't tell you what it was, but I know even if it was a bear, that's still anomalous, which is still cool.
Right. Right.
I feel
Well,
like
watch it.
there's not a whole lot of wildlife out there like they say there is, because I barely see any deer. I've been in Oregon, Washington. You should see moose and stuff out in like open prairies. Nothing. It's completely just, you see squirrels and birds. That's about it, but nothing big. Where's all the wildlife going?
Yeah. On your tree structures or your wooden structures, what are you mostly seeing out there?
X's, tridents, TP, like the whole nine. Everything that you see in other places, I find here.
Well,
Everything.
we don't have any tridents here. Of course, it's just a different band. It's just
Yeah.
like the natives. You get different. We have the eastern band of Cherokee here, which that's in my blood, and then of course the Trail of Tears removed part of them to Oklahoma. You got the Seminole in Florida. All do a little bit different things.
Yeah.
So I think they learned a lot of that from the Bigfoot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Daniel, were you
Because,
gonna post some pictures?
Yeah, I'm trying to. The chat is a whole different thing right now.
Yeah, I get you.
I think we got one of them that we've had for what? How many months now, Larry? We got too many people now. A lot of old people too that I haven't seen in a while too. So,
How many people are there? I'm curious now. That's awesome.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I made sure to post the link, so there might be some people
Oh, okay,
usually on my
good. Because
channel.
I think
Yeah, do that.
no, that ain't it.
While we're waiting, I'll share another experience. Two of them. And I want to get Bruce's opinion on this. So this was a spot I frequent here and there, and this was probably about 9 p.m. just as the sun went down. And I'm walking to the spot I know, and you just hear the loudest wood knock, and it was so loud you could hear the whiff of the swing, but it was far away, but it sounded like a football past your ear, like you heard the whiff and the hit. What do you feel that means?
that was a locator. And
Okay.
what I mean by locator is that if it's a spot you've been regularly going into,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and they will also, like I mentioned earlier, those locators can also tell them when they're hunting, when they're in a position they need to be before they start herding deer or buffalo and stuff. But it'll also work for humans. So when you come in and they know who you are, they'll do a tree knock at the locator. That tells them they've seen you. Now they know your smell, so they're not going to be afraid of you if they're used to seeing you.
Yeah.
So they won't move out of the area, or they won't turn around and start rock throwing and stuff at you. That's just letting the rest of them know that, hey, we seen him come in, and it's that tree knock is, even though a lot of people think the 3 tree knocks sound exactly the same, they don't. They have different tones to them. and that's a language they pick up. They send signals.
I definitely took it as it's not today. So I went home. I took that as like a don't come in today. Like today's not the right day for you to come snooping around.
If it was close to you and you could hear the swing and stuff,
Yeah.
then that's a locator to the others that's out there that's already seen you to let them know that you're all right. You're not a danger.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And then another occurrence was in Daniel, this is in Lake Arrowhead, right?
Yeah.
I've heard a long, loud call, and I was on one side of the lake, and there's plenty of houses, like a lot of like movie stars and stuff live up there, or have houses at least. This is probably like 10 p.m. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A lot of mobsters back in the day.
I was surprised that he lived there and he got run over by his own snowblower or something like that.
Right.
It messed him up pretty bad.
I heard this long, loud call that you hear like the Sierra sounds. That's what it sounded just like, and it's very surprising because of how populated Lake Arrowhead is. Prior to that, I found this pretty large wooded area back in there. Started walking downhill, and I saw a couple of structures. I'm like, okay, big tree on the ground, just lying there. I'm like, wow, that's a big tree. And then I take a couple steps forward, and it just sounds like a freight train running through the woods. And imagine being in a rickety old house with your washer and dryer on the bottom floor. That little shaking, the ground shook just that much when this thing just took off and ran away. I didn't see it because there's obviously a big tree in my view, but it was on the other side of that, just took off.
Generally, when they make that long of a howl like that, it's going to be a female or one of the males in the group that's protecting the juvenile, and generally it's because they've seen a bear, a coyote, or what part of the region if you're in a mountain line are stalking one of their little ones. So they'll make that big howl, and then they'll come in wide open. You were just probably in the area. There was one female that had twins on a mountain range, and the coyotes had come in while she was gone on the hunt. But she let out a holler like that and then come in running, and then you could hear her ripping the coyotes apart for them screaming because they had found her two little ones. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I have another question for you, Bruce. I swear I've seen some Bigfoot that look like the heads almost look like silver spheres, like almost like white heads, and it really shows up on camera. And it would almost, if you looked at it from a zoom, it would almost look like four little orbs close together. But when you zoom in further, it's like the heads. Is that a Bigfoot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you're going to, you're going to have them, you're going to have areas where they get more sun, their hair will bleach a little bit.
Okay.
You're going to have like the more highlighted red ones you'll see will also be in urban areas to where there's not as many deep forests and they stay out in the fields and stuff more. So it's just like a raccoon or anything else, their hair will bleach.
Okay.
That explains a lot too, with the different colors and whatnot. So
you get what I call the silverback. Is he'll have the white, looks white, silver tint to him, and then he'll have a light complexion, and that makes it looks like his face is glowing, especially late in the evening, early in the morning.
And at that time, like the moon's out, and if it's a clear sky, it's like the ambient light on a phone, so it just shines right off of it.
Right. It'll make his head look like he's glowing.
Like
You
you
know,
don't see the rest of the body. It's like a little UFO, like
right,
almost. It's crazy.
right. Yeah. You'll get that. It's just like us. We get older, we get gray headed. Uh, we get in the woods. I'm sure they think we're uh, strangers, even though they know us. That moonlight will glow off of them, but generally it's caused from sun bleach.
Does that mean they've
Well,
been around there a while then? Like they're comfortable in that area to change the
yeah,
hair to that point?
yeah.
Okay.
If there's a good feed source, if there's dumpsters around or anything like that, they will stay in ditch lines within subdivisions and business districts. Uh, they will come out in the sun, uh, and normally around big factories and stuff. The yards kept up mowed around the factory, but the edge of the woods are not. So
That's what we
they'll
got
come out.
here. My urban site's basically the 6 or 7 mile hiking area in the back of a park.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, you have like the city designated area to hike, but there's so many greenways and stuff that's connected to. And it just gets more and more rural the further west you go.
Yeah.
And we have them giant culverts too. You know, them giant cement culverts.
Right.
All of ours here connect to underground from like tree line to tree line. And all of them coincidentally come out where all the major game trails are too. Would they use those to travel subterranean in a subterranean fashion?
Yes, if they feel danger, they will. Most of the time, they'll follow the power lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a lot of that here too. That's probably why it's Monroe County's like city in the middle, but the surrounding area is farmland. And further you go, it's swamp. We have Lake Erie. I mean, it's basically a wildlife refuge, to be honest.
Right.
And you said it. Go ahead. My bad.
We're predictable. We all follow the path of least resistance. The Bigfoot and dogmen do the same thing.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, you said it. Your research area is near a park, correct?
Yes.
You might come upon a teepee if it's where people frequent.
Tons of them, dude. Yeah, tons of them. And they look like stacked inward at the top, like they fill in on each other, but they look interlaced.
Yep. And my theory on that is, I find a lot near a river, or where people frequent, like a park. I think it's comedy for them because they'll build them, and then the average person will be there with their kids or by themselves, whatever scenario you want, and they'll look at it and be like, someone else just made that. They won't even think about it being Bigfoot or forest beings that did that. And usually
it's windfall. They play windfall for 95% of everything.
Come on, we're over the wind. Come on. You'll usually find at least one piece of trash around said teepee structure, and you have to think too. People are littering all the time. I mean, I see it here all the time. It'd be easy for them to go and find something on the ground. Usually blue. They love the color blue. I have noticed that. Especially mylar balloons. I find mylars in a lot of their spots up here.
Yeah. What you got in those teepee type styles is what I call gifting centers. And the reason why I call that a gifting center is that if you're out there with your kids and they find this little cool structure, they'll go in there and play, and they'll eat part of their candy bar or sandwich. And what do little kids do? They'll throw it down. They'll drop their sucker. Well,
so it's a trap hiding in plain sight, basically.
Yeah, and they'll go in there at night and they'll retrieve that food.
If you can't read the language of the forest, you're not going to realize that what you're looking at is a Bigfoot structure. It's just windfall, or it's just somebody was playing in the woods or bushcraft. And I'm not saying sometimes it's not that. I like to debunk and decide what it's not first. Obviously, we have to, but when you get to the end of all that, what's left? The unexplained.
Right. Yep. But I think it's comedy for them. They want the average person to think that it's just another human that built that, so they could
their TV, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they could sit back, watch, and see how people react.
Yeah, could you imagine how many of them have sat back and laughed at us for
Oh, yeah.
thinking,
Oh, yeah.
well, here
Oh,
comes
yeah.
these guys again looking for us. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
I've
100%.
had people like, when you're coming around a curve and there's like a big thick like brush patch in between the trail, like where it curves at. I swear we've heard people crying for help in there, and I'm like, I know better. I've seen all them Appalachian stories and stuff. I know better than
Right.
to go in there. But I'm like, there's nobody out here. We went further. It didn't happen again. If somebody was really stuck there, that crying would continue if it were a human.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I got to it, I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna keep on going. We heard that, but no, we didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I was in the Cherokee National Forest. I was 8 miles from any road or service road, and had that to happen, where they would, because when I'm talking out loud and stuff, and if I've got somebody with me, and they call me by my name, and I'm in those remote areas like that, it's not uncommon for a Sasquatch to repeat what they hear. And so you will hear the conversation you had with your partner up on the mountainside coming down, and it's not y'all's voice, but it's word for word. They're repeating it.
So that's mimicry, basically, is what they're doing.
Right.
It sounds real close to the real thing, but just off enough to know that that's not an owl, that's not a person, but the average person's going to think it is, and that's why they fall for it.
Well, right. An average person will think there's somebody else up on the hill besides them. There's someone else in there walking around, a hiker or camper or somebody.
I'd be so thrown off to hear what I just said. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
is my echo that long? That would blow my mind.
Right. We was coon hunting in Fentress County, Tennessee, and over here at another time over here in Overton County at Standing Stone State Park, and we were on private land coming up to the park boundary, and we had that happen there to where my buddy come up to me and he said, "Do you hear that?" And I said, "Hear what?" He said, "You don't hear somebody talking up there." And I was like, "No, I don't hear that." And he said, "Bruce, you mean tell me you can't hear that?" And I said, "Well, just stop a minute and we'll listen." Stopped a minute, and our conversation was repeated back to us. We come back off the hill and said, "Did you hear that? Bruce, did you hear that?" Me and him ain't talking. It's coming off the hill. It's used my name. So
incredible.
I think they're very, very intelligent.
Oh yeah, highly.
100%.
And if we were as smart as they were, we wouldn't have the problems we do today. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know about Melba Ketchum?
Oh yeah.
How
I got the book sitting over on my shelf right now. It's called Sasquatch Rising.
There you go. How they got the DNA sample, and the female side of the DNA came back as human, but the male side is unknown.
Yeah, the mitochondrial come back to female.
Right.
And the DNA on the father's side is unknown.
Yeah.
She's working on the dog man. I'm sure it's completed. Whether she releases it just yet or not, she's got a better DNA on the
but
dog
isn't,
man.
according to her, Bigfoot occurred about 15,000 years ago?
Ice Age, dinosaur times.
So like the Pleistocene era or whatever, the Pleistocene era.
Right. Mm-hmm. And see, when we go back to the natives, to the Mississippians, all these different natives, they traded their women for goods with them. Their women was stolen from. Bigfoot would steal their women. They was all worn. Everybody in those tribes and stuff wore it at some time or another. There was more peace times, no doubt, but they traded too. So they would trade out whatever for a woman. And in the Bigfoot wars, they were stealing the women, but also the Indians had been stealing from them too.
Yeah.
So that's where your DNA comes in, because if you look at the Ice Age and the ice bridge, the land bridge, then like I said, science is not always right. It's because they can't always put their finger on it. And sometimes they don't, when they do figure it out, they don't want to change the narrative because they've been teaching it wrong for so long.
But how could we know what the DNA would be? There's nothing in the DNA database or catalog to compare it to. It'd be the first time discovery.
Right, but as we know, you can bet the government knows what the father's DNA is.
I bet you that's the Kandahar giant, in my personal opinion.
Well, the Kandahar giant, I believe, was a Nephilim that was there. Over here, I don't believe it's Nephilim because they would come into small communities and stuff and just kill everybody.
I mean, it makes sense. It could have been King Og if you think about the size that it was.
Yeah.
The 12, was it 12 feet, 1,100 pounds? I believe is what it weighed on the C-130 aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And was it double rows of teeth? 6 rows on each. Okay. Terrifying.
6 hands on the hands and 6 toes.
6 toes.
Yeah.
6 toes. Nephilim.
Yeah. The Kandahar was definitely a Nephilim. The Bigfoot we have here in the United States are not. A lot of people will argue that point, but they can't. There's no proving it.
Now, could Bigfoot be a descendant of like the Kandahar giant?
Red-headed giants. Redheads.
No, it wouldn't be.
I agree.
The giants wouldn't have a breeding population, would they?
The giants, the Nephilim giants wouldn't have a breeding population. They would have to. The only way it would be to steal the women, and that's what got them in trouble to start with.
Because of the Watchers in the Book of Enoch.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the United States, a land bridge brought in a whole different human species, and that's what we got. That's what we're dealing with Sasquatch.
So could Sasquatch be like a second generation Nephilim in some cases?
No, I don't believe they're connected to the Nephilim at all.
They're definitely angelic, though.
I mean, I've shared what I think they are before. I think they're a post-flood creation. Where I think you had the Watchers came down before the flood, and that's when that's when God flooded the earth because of all the Nephilim and stuff being made. But after the flood, that's when Lucifer was kicked out of heaven, and that's when the Genesis 6:4 talks about comes in. After the flood, so they came to earth and slept with women again, and that's where your Raphaim and your other giants that would have existed post flood.
But that would have been in places like not Saudi Arabia, but Kuwait and places like that. That wouldn't have existed here.
Middle East.
Yeah.
I feel like these forest beings have definitely been around longer than we have. I think so. In a way, some of them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bruce, are the Xanu the same as Bigfoot?
The Xanu, Xanu is also a clan. The Xanu was Tom. I wish I could think of his name. Wrote a book on them. He just passed away.
Scott Carpenter.
No, Tom. I can't think of his name now. Chantrell. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Yeah. He wrote a book.
Tom Cantrell?
Yeah, Tom.
Cantrell.
Yeah. He wrote probably one of the best books on the Xanu. Will explain quite a bit to people that's just getting into Bigfoot research. How they communicate, how the stick structures they leave, and how particular places, if it gets too busy, they will mind speak you and tell you to come back like another day or another week or come back in a month. To see certain park areas around certain roads, certain times of the year have a lot of tourists, and they don't want to walk out and take a chance of being seen. So they'll leave those structures. And Tom was good about reading them with his clan. I don't know if that holds true to all of them across the United States, but with his clan, his stick structures left a lot of messages for him.
I think
Okay.
I think it
Interesting.
probably varies with each state, Bruce. Just like
Each
us,
region, yeah,
different countries, regions. Yeah,
yeah,
they got different cultures in the way they
yeah.
do things.
I think the western part of the United States is different from the eastern. The eastern's
Yeah,
different from the northern, and the northern's different from the southern part. You know, they got that Florida Bigfoot. I forgot what it's called now.
Skunk
Florida
ape.
Bigfoot.
The wood
Yeah,
booger.
Skunk ape.
it's swamp
skunk
something.
ape,
Oh,
Uh,
swamp ape.
yeah, swamp
Swamp ape.
ape.
Yeah.
swamp
You
ape,
know,
and
it's
skunk
not
ape.
as
Yeah,
Skunk
it's
ape.
not as big as our Bigfoot here, and it smells like a skunk. Where a lot of our Bigfoot here, they don't smell until they go into mating season.
Oh,
When they go
Okay.
into mating season, we get that high testosterone urine smell.
I always thought that the smell was more like a get away from me, like a pheromone release and a deterrent, rather than a
Well,
constant smell.
they're like the males have right below their kneecap on the inside, the big Sasquatch males. They've got a pad there that releases some type of a testosterone, and
Okay.
during mating season is generally in October because they give birth somewhere around late October, 9 months later to 10 months later. I'm on the bleep. It's almost 12 months because when they do that, it's a full cycle around almost a year before they give birth. But when the males have that on them, you can smell them, and it's people pass it off as a skunk, wet dog, or wet bear type
peculiar.
smell. Yeah, just all combined in one. Just a high musk smell, and then the same way with the females, they won't have their monthlies, I call it. They don't have monthlies like women. They have monthlies every 6 to 8 months until they get pregnant.
Does that coincide with the moon cycle or anything like that during birthing
Yes,
rituals?
yes,
What?
yes. It has to be. The moon phase has to be down in the legs and stuff before that
Because that's the
works.
times I've been chased out of there. That's when I've seen like spider crawling and things like that take place.
Yeah.
Is that during
Yeah.
birthing rituals and stuff like that?
Y-
Typically, like you're really not wanted at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And
So,
okay,
we call it strut during the strut or the rut.
Right. Strut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. But here I call them when I see them like that, they're strutting. So they're not really afraid of you. They're not going to hurt you, but they could care less if you seen them walking across the field because they're following the female. You know,
okay.
their testosterone's through the roof. So they're like a buck deer. They got one thing on their mind at that time, and that's when a lot of them are seen by people. That scares a lot of people. I'm always telling people that notify me through Facebook and Messenger, and there's women. I say, if you're on your period, I wouldn't go out late fall and
Wow.
through the winter. Wait till you're off your period because it could
They
bring you
know.
a lot of trouble.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Bruce, you said you were high priest,
Yeah,
LDS.
Yeah.
High priest with LDS. So yeah. And for people that didn't see last week, that was your religion, and a lot of it hooked to a lot of Bigfoot and Dogman encounters, or not
Yes.
encounters, but I guess truth.
Yeah. We had from the 1800s that we got documented in the church on up until now of encounters that priests had with Bigfoot. Patterson in 1832 had one over here in Tennessee. We only had 2 missionaries in Tennessee at that time. They were
Was that
meeting.
David Patton, Bruce?
I think it is. Yeah, Patterson.
Is that the
Patton.
one where they thought it was Cain? Where the Bigfoot
Yes.
claimed it was
Yes.
Cain?
Yes.
Which I think was in I don't think it was in the Book of Mormon or anything like that. I think it was.
It was taken out of the. It's in the early books in the archives.
Okay.
It's not given to the public. But I'm done family search and ancestry.com for the church
Okay.
too. So I slipped that out of the archives and put it on the internet. So if you Google it, you could read about the encounter.
Okay.
I didn't give a lot of detail into it, but it'll give you what he thought that was Cain that walked with him as he's sitting on the horse. You know, this thing is head high with him, walking with him. And so he says he asked it questions and stuff, and it answered him and said he was Cain, and it was doomed to roam the earth and steal souls. So
What if it didn't mean a literal Cain, but more like Cain as a representation term, like Cain as an exiled race? You know, because when Cain went to the land of Nod, when you read the Bible makes you think, what's the city of Nod, right? Nod, I believe, means wilderness or wildlands.
Yeah, wildlands, yeah, wilderness.
So if he's exiled to the wilderness, that makes sense why it could be a Bigfoot. Or maybe Bigfoot's the curse of Cain, possibly.
Well, the problem with that is Cain can never die.
And Sasquatch can.
Sasquatch can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of your Sasquatches, if they don't get sick, they've been getting sick a lot here lately because of the pesticides, chemtrails, a lot of Roundup, poison and stuff, putting in stuff. Generally about 115 years. But here lately, about 60, 70 years.
Okay.
They do
And what about
vary.
the early Bigfoots? How long did the early Bigfoots, back when we still had mega flora and fauna and stuff like that?
200 to 300 years easy.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they were set up, that's the reason why I say I believe they taught the native. They've set up in tribal communes. So they had elders and stuff too. And the smaller clans now that are existing, they do have elders too. They have the rulers. Sort of like a wolf pack. They got the alpha male and alpha female.
What do you think about the dinosaurs, honestly, Bruce? Like, out of curiosity, do you think they're of any sort of like Enochian descent and the floods what wiped them out versus a comet? Or do you think they were just mega flora and fauna for that time on the planet?
Well, I think the weather changed, thus messing with the food, meaning the plants and other animals, and they just starved to death.
Okay. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. We had Alaska had Florida's weather and stuff. Everything got messed up. And then when you have those
how do you
cold
think the
temperatures,
dinosaurs came to be, like the origin of the dinosaurs?
well, I believe in the Bible, so I believe it was made by God before man was made. The first man was Adam. So,
do you think that biblically, time frame wise, though, that man would have had to walk the earth at the same time as the dinosaurs?
yes.
So the 65 million years old is essentially BS if you follow the biblical time frame of dinosaurs versus the scientific one.
Right. Scientists can only go back, 20,000 years?
So where do they get the 65 million idea from then?
The 65 million would go back to the way the earth and the glaciers were formed in the mountains.
So, I mean, like, I cannot remember what church it was. I believe it was in Arkansas, but they believe there were different earth ages.
Well, see, yes, because you had the Appalachian Mountains here in Tennessee that runs all the way through into New York and all the way down into Georgia is the oldest mountain range in the world.
Yep.
So when you
Okay.
get into what was land back then was sea. What is sea now is land. And then you got the Appalachian Mountain Range that was formed by the glaciers. It's so high in water, it'll never go back to sea.
Okay. But I appreciate you answering that. I just wanted to hear your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, it can be tricky. That answer can be.
I mean, it's relative to what your religious beliefs are, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people can't reconcile having like a Christian and biblical perspective versus a scientific one, when really they can work together. I mean, I don't look at time like it's abstract. I look at it like the past, present, and future all happening at the same time rather than independently. So that makes it easier to look at dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff for me, and even Bigfoot.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, the dinosaur age, man survived the dinosaur age. You know.
So the cavemen were real, and then they would have been around during those times with the dinosaurs.
Right.
Okay.
And then you have
So
alligators and stuff are dinosaur. I think sharks go back to dinosaur time.
Yep.
You know, so we still have
Descendants of them.
dinosaurs. Yeah, we still have the dinosaurs here, just genetically altered because of the weather conditions.
Right, and oxygen levels.
Right.
They had to evolve to survive.
Right. And so did we, if you think about it. And
Oh yeah,
so
everything.
it's real easy to, if you're talking to non-believers who's never seen one, it's real easy to explain to them. We evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, we were running around buck naked, swinging clubs and everything else, trying to take down dinosaurs to eat. And now we're talking.
Bruce, do you think the first Bigfoot maybe didn't have hair, and the hair was an environmental adaptation over time?
Exactly.
So maybe the first Bigfoot would have been more like a primitive human versus the bipedal hybrid looking things we look at them like now.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because when you get into warmer weather, you get into lesser hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Same with
If you get
closer to the equator.
Right. You get into colder weather, you get into more hair. Well, over time, these Sasquatches adapted the hair because of the genetics that moved down, and because they started breeding with humans.
Yeah.
But in my aspect, a Sasquatch is also a human. That's what I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a hybrid. I think it's got multiple DNA types in it.
Exactly, because there's 21 species known scientifically of us. They very well could have been 22, 23, 24. You know.
But Bruce, what do you think? Why we don't have any Bigfoot sightings in Hawaii? Is that because of the land bridge? It's the only state that does not have any reported Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah.
But who's over there
In
looking?
the big country.
Yeah, it's I would assume that there probably was at one time, and with the volcanic and poisonous gases, there probably wasn't a whole lot of life at all on the Hawaiian Islands for many, many thousands of years.
Volcanoes.
But I believe there's a jungle there that's like 50,000 acres that's never been explored, that they have not checked out yet. So maybe there is some sort of, like maybe the orang pendek type creature or something's in there.
Right, it could be.
Has anyone ever looked over there?
Nope, nobody. I don't think the Hawaiian government is letting them, because it's such a sacred thing.
Right, because they have so many sacred artifacts there, and they don't want to upset Pele, who is the volcano goddess.
Right.
Okay.
And, okay, they have real strong religious beliefs on that. So as far as excavating, the people I know that went over there and done it behind the government's back, a lot of them had to take the stuff, fly it back to Hawaii and take it back to where they got it because they got bad luck. Bad things were happening to them. Things, supernatural things were attacking them and stuff like that.
I see where Lori said there are stories of little people in Hawaii.
I believe
Is that the Menahoni, I believe?
Puckwudgies.
Puckwudgies.
That's the Puckwudgies are Algonquin, I believe. Algonquin folklore.
Yeah, they're part
Hey,
of
little
the
people.
folklore here.
Yeah,
Here in
Elves.
Tennessee.
so cool, man. Like little gnomes and all that kind of
Elves.
stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Some type of forest being lives in Hawaii. I guarantee it. I'm supposed to go out there this year with my girlfriend because her parents live out there. So
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
I know the universal language and what to look for. So
But there's tons of spirits and stuff out there too. I mean, Hawaii's
Sure.
loaded with,
lot.
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
tons of ancient warriors, all that kind of stuff.
for sure. But I mean, they're in
Yes.
Australia. Australia's an island.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Every
did-
continent except for
Antarctica.
and Hawaii, the two. Yeah.
Well,
Everybody
Antarctica's
else has
supposed
got
to have them too, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got everything else. I mean, why would every major government have it? I mean, we probably can't talk too much about this, obviously, Bruce, but
No.
we know there's every major government has an outpost in Antarctica for like the last
Yeah, but
100
no
years.
one else is allowed there.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh,
What's
Yeah.
beyond Antarctica? Let's talk about the landmass that Admiral Byrd saw.
Tartaria.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's coming around
Come
again
on
too.
now.
A lot of people
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying I'm
keep
a flat
talking about
earther.
it a minute.
I'm not saying I'm a
Shut the
flat earther,
site
but
down.
I think there's land masses beyond our own knowledge of what we know. You know.
Yeah.
Agree.
I believe, we see in 3D. That's all
Yep.
we're meant to see. We can't see what a honeybee sees. A
Right.
honeybee can fly 10 miles from their nest and turn around and go straight back to it. They see in dimensions we can't. Humans can only see in 3D.
Right.
There's animals in the woods that we all know and take for granted that can probably see 10D.
Right.
You know.
10th
I mean,
dimension.
what would a 3D object look like in a 4D world?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
it'd be
Right.
very
Space.
left to right. There'd be no up and down.
Yeah.
No,
But
yeah.
time is space.
Right.
Two completely different.
And what
polar
colors?
opposites.
Do we
Daniel's
look all white, or do we look all gray, or
Well, see, I don't think different dimensions are millions of miles away. I look at it like it's a shoe
No.
cabinet. Like picture just, for example, 24 shoes. You have door 1 and you have like door 5. That's how I think Bigfoot peeks in. They just look through
But-
the trap door. It's not billions of miles away. It's
Well-
it's adjacent and stacked.
right?
Layers of paper. Layers of paper.
Yeah,
And we're on
And
the
there's-
third one.
In
Yeah.
between.
yeah. And there's a red shoe, actually a red shoe in our dimension. When you get
What's a
into
red
other
shoe?
dimensions,
Because if you look at time like it's its own fabric, like it's its own
Right.
element, that makes perfect sense. Why? What happens when you push on the tent? It stretches the fabric and manipulates it a little bit.
right?
I think that's, if you look at time like it's a tent, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
And I don't think their time is the same as our time, if that makes sense. Like our clock's ticking. There's I don't think ticks the same way. It's different. A minute could be for us a minute, but a minute to them could be a lot less.
I know they have
Yeah.
accelerated growth because they have the supernatural aspect to them. So I would think that they grow really fast as infants as well. So
Right.
that's probably why they make it to 70 years. So, like, how tall would one be at 17, Bruce? Like 7 foot, 6'6", something like that?
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Again, it ranges. If you're in the mountain range, you're going to add 2 feet to that.
Okay. Now,
because
how long from a baby to get to 6 foot would it take for a Bigfoot?
that's a juvenile, so that would take probably 8-9 years.
So that's really crazy accelerated growth.
Yeah.
Well, Well,
They
plus
go
we're the only
from-
ones that use linear time.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
We're the only people that do that in order to get to places on time.
Right. But yeah, you get a juvenile. A juvenile can be a full grown in our age, but in their age, it's a juvenile. Yeah, I mean, I've seen here in Smith County, in '91, I seen a big female toting one, breastfeeding it, and it probably weighed 55 pounds. So I'm going to say it was probably a year or 2 years old, maybe.
I believe I have footage of a juvenile in a tree that I filmed 5 years ago in Big Bear. I think I sent you the picture, Daniel. You could see the
Yes.
big old eyeball. You could
Yeah.
see the dark hair. And all the, everyone slanders each other online. Keyboard warriors, gotta love them.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a raccoon. That's an owl. That's a porcupine. I'm like, half those things you just said we don't even have.
Yeah.
Try
Right.
again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Is that yours?
I can see that right off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm
Here,
looking at
right?
a different picture. No, not that I'm seeing. That just looks like the woods.
I think it's a cloak, isn't it? But that's not yours, Brandon.
I don't think so.
I figured.
With the skinnier tree to the left and the bigger tree to the right, and then the black mass in the center.
I see
Just
that.
in the
Yeah,
weeds.
yeah, that's not
That,
mine.
I mean,
but
that
I
could
see
be
it.
I don't know if that one's doctored up or not, but I mean, that's very similar to what a juvenile would look like.
On that one, I couldn't tell. I had seen it before. It's been about a year, but yeah,
It's hard when they superimpose an image because that could be real trees and a real like brush
Right.
line, and then they add the Bigfoot later and blend it, and it's even harder than AI to notice.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's legit. A good
Okay.
tool to use on a photo like that is your cell phone. You just bring out your camera as like a magnifying glass. You can, yeah, that's. I think that's 100% real right there. But that's not my
Well,
photo.
that's pretty much the only thing
Yeah.
we can get because when we were
Well,
doing
if
that
you look up on the
documentary-
hill, if you look
Yeah.
between those two trees up on the hill, you'll see two legs and go up to the top part of the green leaves, and you'll see a head.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh yeah, holy
See
cow!
the eyes. Yeah.
But I mean, rarely where there's one that there's not another. I mean,
Right.
how many are in the actual Patterson film, Bruce? Like
Uh,
nine specimens total.
Yeah, nine counting Patty. Yeah.
They're never
One of
alone.
them, she was walking.
So I
away
mean,
because
that
the-
debunks the whole fake movie thing right there. Well, tell me what they
Yeah.
faked the other 8 ones do. The other 8 Sasquatch.
Right. It's a
I'm gonna-
that film couldn't be faked. And then of course, there's a whole story leading up before that film was even taken. It
Oh,
caused
for
them to
sure.
go there. You had 100+ eyewitness loggers
Yeah.
that not only seen them, but also the prints, tearing up their equipment. All this was going on for weeks and months before Patterson was asked to go in there.
Yeah.
Daniel, I just sent you the photo that I'm trying to get you to put up there. Again.
I don't know what a 55-gallon drum of diesel fuel weighs, but something kept on packing it off on that site. Fuel for the
Yeah.
bulldozers and backhoes and loggers.
Gentlemen,
Yep.
forgive me. I'm
towing
stepping
it
away
off
for
in
just
the
a second.
woods.
Yeah,
Hey, go ahead, man.
yeah, they had so much stuff going on there, and it went on there for close to a year. And then
Yeah.
right there where Patty was filmed at, that was the end of the line. They couldn't go any further until
Yeah.
something was done with these Bigfoot. And it wound up being the two mountains Patty was headed towards was supposed to be, from what the natives there said, was
They
medicine.
went there and did rituals or something,
Yeah,
didn't they?
medicine. Yeah, they trained medicine men and women Sasquatch there. So,
Turned them to be shaman.
Does this work?
Yeah, I read something about that in the book. And plus, you
And,
mentioned it.
yeah, and then you get into the metallic sounds in the woods. Well, there's certain rocks in the woods that are real thin, a couple inches thick. If you take two of them and rub them together, it sounds just like somebody dragging a piece of metal through the woods, or a car door shutting if you clack them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I've
but
heard of
that
cricket
logging
sticks.
company,
Yeah,
them Bigfoot really give them the run through. They just
yeah.
harass.
Same way with that. What is it? Potluck, Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Potluck.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, it didn't send.
What's he trying to pull up another picture?
Yeah, this. I made a folder and everything, and it should be in there, and it's not.
If I sent you one on Messenger, if I sent it to you again on Messenger, are you able to pull it up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I saw which one you sent, but we still got to get out of StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you, man. Whenever you're available.
Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up right on your side?
How do I do that?
Good question.
I mean, I could hold it up to the little camera right here, but it's not going to look good.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna. Yeah.
Trying to
Oh, I
send
see
it.
which one you're talking.
See what happens.
All right, let's try this.
All right, I sent it to you right now.
Good. Hey.
Just want to get your guys' opinion on this photo that hopefully can go through right now.
Jeez. Was it the all green? All green, Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the big old eyeball, and you can see the dark hair.
Yeah, it's not even letting it go into the file now. Go figure.
It's all good.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm gonna have to find something else because this.
We could share it in the group individually, I guess, too. And just attach it separately.
Very true. Yeah,
Be back in just a second.
Yeah, Daniel, if you want to send all these guys the 46 photos I sent individually and check them out.
Guys go ahead and...
Be happy to.
I'm back.
And most of that stuff's recent. Most of that stuff is pretty recent.
Just downloaded it. It should be. Shit.
Jeremy is a really sweet guy. He's super talented. He's super open. He had a bad drug problem.
Yeah, this thing is not good. I don't even know why that picture's on there, but it looks like there's a portal behind him. It's on now.
And speaking of portals, I was checking out that portal video again the other day.
Oh,
and no matter how many times I watched that, and I found that over 2 years ago. That wasn't planned. It was just there. And Bruce, what do you think about Sasquatch coming out of portals? Do they have the ability to create them, or are they just there?
No, they'll if you get into the supernatural part of Sasquatch, That's the reason why I believe in different ones. Most of the ones I deal with are flesh and blood, but there are those that come out of portholes along with other creatures. We have one over here in Smith County in what they call Rome, Rock City area. But a guy's got camper there, and he had acorns falling through the roof into the camper, but there's no hole in the roof. But right outside, he had set the camper there, and right outside the camper, he'd run him a hood light to where he could see when he opened the camper door outside. And you can see a porthole open up, and you can see a Bigfoot step out, and you can see another creature step out, and you can see a dog man step out, and then they turn around, and it's like they get into it, and all of a sudden the light bulb explodes.
This started off like a super bright white glowing marble that just gradually just expanded into like a white, probably 25, 30 foot door, because I was on full zoom on my phone and it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So we had to be 500 meters from it, and it was still massive even zoomed in. So that thing had to have been just gigantic in person.
Started out as an orb.
Close to it. Yeah, exactly. And then just when you zoom in, there's so many figures, and when they come out, like if you're coming out of the portal, it'd be your left, so the Sasquatch is left, and they're like jumping into the trees. Just almost like they're stopping by to just play in the woods for a bit before doing whatever they're going to do. It was the dangest thing I've ever seen.
Like a Stargate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have metal boxes, black boxes they come out of. They've got what I call the circle energy, where the porthole opens up and it's circling, and they jump through the black hole coming out. I think he just set his camper right there where one was at, and it caused activity. It created the porthole to open, which lets several different creatures come through it. It's got so much energy. I mean, it blew a 150 watt bulb out.
So there's a good chance that this portal, and I'll send you that portal, Bruce. I'll send it to you on Messenger on Facebook. So there's a good chance that it's more than just Sasquatch beings coming out of that. That's probably a gateway for all cryptids that have interdimensional or angelic capabilities.
Right.
That's what I believe anyway. I just like to hear what you guys think too,
100%.
Or it could be other entities that imitate Sasquatch and dogmen and people.
I've heard from another gentleman researcher, a good friend of mine, that certain Bigfoot give themselves over to the dark side, like they have the ability to kind of fully become a darker creature.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would that where you get to your gugways and all that kind of stuff, or would that where you get to more?
It could be. Even we do that. People get into this satanic stuff and use portholes and stuff, and bring other things into our world.
That's true.
So
think some portholes, they know where they're at. Some are stationary, and they use that to go to and from different realms or dimensions. And
the old timers called them time travel capsules.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
And back on the structures for a second in tree breaks. I think honestly, sometimes a tree break is just too much weight of the Sasquatch. It just can't. The tree can't bear the weight of it when it's up at a certain height. I think it just snaps it. I don't think it necessarily means anything. I think it's just, and there happens to be one just like that where the portal was.
A lot of the tree breaks I've seen are skinny trees. No way. Like a raccoon would be too much weight for those trees and bend down, but they always seem to be pointing at the same direction, and what I've heard is, and this is just speculation, the pointed side is the side we can have, and the flat side and behind is their land. It's like, don't cross into here.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So or I've heard it points to water. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
You know.
I think
Yeah,
a lot
well,
of them
that's-
are resource markers, especially the
Mhm.
curved trees, like the curved ones that you see. Because I know the
Mhm.
Native Americans used to gradually bend them over as the tree aged and to make them permanent resource markers. So some
Right.
of them might just be, this is where the stream is. Because there's a lot of them where in my research area, because it's probably a mile from the river. So it's a perfect spot for everything. So I'm guessing that a lot of those are probably markers for that.
Now, do you have tridents out your way?
Here and there, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they love those things, man.
There's a lot of Y sticks out here. You can walk down the trail and there'll just be a Y hiking stick, or just it happens to be a Y twig on the ground. Like it's too deliberate and too frequent to just be an occasional thing. It's like they're leaving behind subtle symbols. Like it took me forever to make another wreath to hang where I found the one I had. So it's not like I meant to be disrespectful to them. I just didn't know what else to do until I talked to Bruce, and Bruce is like, that means you need to make one back. And I'm
Right.
like, I didn't like try to be disrespectful. I just didn't know any better. So I made one as best I could and put it in the same spot, like I had mentioned earlier. And I'm hoping that not enough times passed where they just given up on the area.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I still consider like the fork trees, like the Ys. I still think that's a type of trident. You know, if they couldn't, because I think they physically make those trees like at a young age. They force it to have the two outside ones like that with the center one that's like really short. I think the forks and the Ys are just ones that they didn't have time to fully complete that process, but it still means the same thing to them.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I like that. That's cool. I never would have thought
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, the next time you guys go on your research areas, really hone in on those structures, follow them, and they'll lead to a place with so many structures around. That is a wallow. That's where they hang out, and you'll find the seats of where they sit. Maybe some solid footprints right there, and other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Most of mine are being caves, so I very seldom go into caves anymore. I'm on the Warriors Path, that ancient path. It's got the most cave systems through Tennessee on that path. So
100%. I definitely believe there's hollowed out mountains where you could fit cities, and I think that's where they go. But the places they hang out on top of the surface are those wallows.
yeah,
They don't sleep there. They just hang out and like day watch and all
Yeah.
that.
Bruce, I had your opinion on Tennessee. You know, remember the Dennis Martin case from 1969 in the Smoky Mountains?
hmm
Now, here's my thing. In 1969, the Vietnam War was obviously going on pretty heavily, and there was a Green Beret unit there the same day that Dennis Martin went missing. Would they have spared Green Berets to go after one kid, as terrible as that sounds, during the height of the Vietnam War? Or was that a
Yeah.
containment breach? Because they claim to have seen somebody, some hairy-like creature with a childlike side over its shoulder, like maybe Dennis got taken by a rogue Bigfoot or something. Would Green Berets have been there, or would that have been your local National Guard and your state level government stuff that
No,
would have
on that,
handled that?
on that particular case, because there were so many witnesses, they brought in actual Green Berets.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
just curious because I know that you've worked with a lot of that kind of stuff. So
See, a little over a mile from there, at the same time the kid come up missing, campers over a mile away seen what they described as a Bigfoot with they believed to be a child over its shoulder. And this was before they knew the kid was missing from a mile and a half away.
wow.
So that was the biggest manhunt, well, in United States history, because the kid went in behind a tree playing there, and the daddy knew exactly where he was at, and he couldn't come out behind the tree without being seen.
Do you think it was a Bigfoot that took him?
Yeah. Yeah, but what he done is he went up the tree with the kid
Wow.
and moved from tree to tree.
So that explains why a lot of like your missing 411 type cases result in people being found 15 miles like straight up a cliff,
Right.
opposite of the direction they started, because they were being carried there by something.
Yeah, they'll carry them so far. When they spotted this one at the same time that child come up missing, he walked across a meadow. Well, it wasn't walking; he was running across a meadow with what they believed was a child. So that report was taken before the Dennis Martin missing report was taken.
Okay.
So when you get into the mountains like that, you don't know what got disrespected. You don't know what happened. You don't know if somebody before they went in there playing had been in there doing messing with a Bigfoot or whatever, who they pissed off, or you know.
I mean, being in this hobby and having this kind of interest, it's risky in itself.
Right.
Like,
So you have,
we know what we can get into when we're out in the field. It's in a way we want it to happen because it's confirmation that what we already know is true really is. But it's also, it's a double-edged sword in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got the news media willing to talk about alien abductions, but they're not willing to talk about Bigfoot abductions. So you never hear about it.
What do you think about Tom Messick, Bruce? That's what I wanted to hear. The Tom Messick case. They went missing, and there was a former National Guardsman went missing in 2015 while on a hunting trip, and he was an avid hunter, and he just basically walked off the map. And there were reports of like a trap door or steel trap door like shutting sound, which in my opinion is probably a portal coming into manifestation. So Tom might have somehow stepped into another dimension and never came back, or could he have been taken by a Bigfoot?
I would say he stepped into a porthole. Yeah,
because they never found the rifle, they never found a vest. It was just like the man was never created.
We had Baxter, Tennessee, had a coach that hunted every year in Alaska bear hunting, him and another guy, and where they were hunting at on that particular island doesn't have any trees on it. It's all tundra. And he told his partner he was going to walk off down a piece and scope, and they haven't found him today, and that's been 2 years now.
Wow.
So he just disappeared, and there's no possible way he could just disappear. Something had to happen, whether he was walked into a porthole or
one of them thin spaces where you and me can be 20 feet apart, but your watch is 2 seconds faster than mine.
Right.
Like that sort of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like different.
Some places there's a veil, and some places the veil doesn't exist.
And I've noticed in my own research that when you find like a portal, it's never in the brush. It's always in a liminal space, a transition from the brush into a field. You're always going to find the portal in a field. I've never seen one manifest in the middle of like trees and brush. It's only ever been like in a clearing or a field or just a flat spot in the forest.
They've got
so I wonder if they're using resources for that, maybe like natural gas lines as energy to manifest in our reality.
That's a possibility. They got a place called the LBL, Land Between the Lakes, here in Tennessee. It goes into Kentucky, that they've actually had.
See Dan's face; he's smiling more wall right now when you said LBL.
Yeah. They've actually had Bigfoot and stuff run into trees. Massive Bigfoot run into a tree about the size of your leg, and he's gone. And they say that's portholes. Again,
Bruce, doesn't tree knocking come from a pagan ritual? They used to knock on the tree 3 times to contact the tree spirits, and that's kind of how it evolved over to Bigfoot. And maybe that's why Bigfoot can become trees and walk inside them, because they're the forest people. Yeah,
that's a possibility, but I always go back to what I can debunk and what I can figure out is the chameleon effect, to make it until, I personally view one going into a tree like that, and There's got to be something open up for such a massive creature to go through it. But if he can turn into a chameleon effect, then that would explain a lot.
Okay.
You know.
I've noticed in my area, a lot of them are up in the trees too, like the 15, 20 foot mark. Like,
Yeah.
You'll get to a certain part and one will knock to let the other know, all right, hey, they're here. And there's like
Yeah.
different quadrants of the area where they're all kind of reconning. Like you have your day sentries, and then like across the way you have like where the alpha is just kind of chilling for the day.
Yeah.
Before I
Yeah.
go, I was going to say I've heard that they can change their density, make themselves smaller, depending on what's going on. Just to add on to what you guys were talking about. But my name's on here if you guys want to add me on Facebook so I can send you guys photos and stuff if Daniel's not able to do it. And check my channel out, Bronzini Bigfoot. I'm posting weekly.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, it was great meeting you guys. I got to go get something to eat, man.
All right.
I'm getting there myself, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. I've heard that.
And Daniel, whenever you're down to come out and go exploring, I got you, man. I got some good spots, and I'd be down to go on another podcast with you guys. So let me know.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are all returners, so you're in good
Yeah, this is like my fifth
Okay.
time on here. Now I'm like a
Alright.
panel member. It's freaking awesome.
There you go.
Bruce
Well,
too. Bruce has
good.
been on a lot too. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it, Bruce. I mean, you're the one that's letting us know, the truth versus theory or anything else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all good, but
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go. It's been 2.5 hours, and I'd be happy to have any of you back. Perfect.
I got a premiere right now at 7:40.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Let us know, man.
Yeah,
Tell
7:40.
everything and everything.
8 minutes. It's going down.
You got it, man.
Awesome, man. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
We'll see you guys
All
soon. All right.
All right.
Thank
You
you.
too. Have a good one.
Wow. Yeah. I
See
feel
what
bad for
happens when I go biblical? It never stops.
We've got so many people. I've been trying to think of how we're going to do this with the researchers only, and then also have new people coming on in because I've got.
I think you should make the interviews in the researchers only section because that's more the research aspect. So have the researchers do the interviews. You could even do that. And then if you wanted to, if you trusted, like you could have even Bruce do it or me do it even at one point, And then meanwhile, because I think where we're at with it, we know they're real. So to us, the theories are more important than the experiences. Not that their experiences aren't important. That's the top tier, but to be able to put them here and them here, it's going to be the most organized format.
Yeah.
True. And I was thinking about, since you guys both have good questions, maybe just having you guys on, and because I know you got a ton of questions there, Scott. So, and Bruce
We had a
has
lot
got
of
most the
theories, a
answers.
lot of research, and it's all led me to a lot of places. I don't believe in coincidence personally. I think coincidence suggests that there's extra, and I don't think God made extra. I think there's just enough, so it's all part of the same story.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. It's
Totally
all part of
agree.
the puzzle. Yep.
Exactly.
It is. Excellent, guys. Well, I'll let you go because I know it's really late there. It's only 7:30 here. But
No problem, man.
Yep.
we have
Thanks for everything, Bruce. I truly appreciate you answered all my questions.
Yeah, man.
Those are some of those ones are burning in my head like money in my pocket.
No
and I
problem.
had my ideas, and a lot of it was you were just kind of confirming what I already believed.
Right.
And I kind of lean with my gut on a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
because
best to,
it's more of a spiritual intuition thing versus a science thing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
What
you,
happened
man.
to Larry?
Larry was helping his wife.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
Okay.
said, okay, well. Anyways, I'll let you guys both go because I'm sure you're tired. So long week.
See you guys.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Y'all have a blessed night and keep
You
on
too,
squatching.
You got it, man. Appreciate it. Love it.
Yeah.
Man. Thanks again. Bye. All right, so it's just me now, and our next, John Stikowski. He is a friend of Brandon, or I'm sorry, Daniel's, and he's going to be on next week. Then the 26th, we got Roger Williams. We're coming, happy to have him on, definitely. And then we have Scott Page, who is a friend of Daryl's that is had plenty of telepathy visits from I think Bigfoot and Dogman were both of them. So everybody, thank you guys. I appreciate the chat. I mean, gosh, I can barely keep up with you guys. So excellent. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Be back next Friday, and we'll be with John Stikowski and Ian. We're gonna have Ian Woods too, who did When Wolves Stand Upright is the documentary I believe he's in, and he's one of the ones I wanted on because of as much as he learns. He's from the UK too, so it's a completely different area. So excellent. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And I interviewed Ian on the Sunday, so I'll release that on Tuesday. So hope to see you again next week, and thank you for everybody in the chat being there. Thanks, guys. Bye.